Yo, what is up, guys? Illusion here, back with the Hive B-Drill Week 1 Power Rankings, and joined with me are two goons. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Yo, what is going
What
on?
is up,
This is
people?
no, you interrupted me. This is John W, aka the better
You
John.
don't get to say your name first. This
Yeah,
is
you, I'm better than
Flames
you. I'm
here.
better than you.
So as you guys can see from the age in this voice chat, we got Lejon Flames and John W, some overpowered goons. Like I've tossed them both in league, of course, so they're below me. But they
We have
have
never
some
played.
insight, and them with Greg helped me make the power rankings for the week 1 of the Hive. Let's get into number 16, guys. We put Ace. So why don't we talk about Ace's game a little bit?
Ace got body bagged.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
There's
the main
nothing
thing.
Yeah, there's nothing to say about this game other than he got absolutely waffle stomped by its regulator. The only thing we
The
like
main
about
thing about this game was that Ace didn't really have anything for webs, which he can easily fix in the future. So it's not like it's a big impact on his season, but yeah, he got destroyed, no momentum whatsoever throughout the entire match. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I felt about that game. When I watched it, it was like pretty one-sided.
Yeah, exactly what John said. Greg got webs up and then Ace got destroyed, and that's all we can say about the game. At no point in the game
Yeah,
was
and
Oh, go ahead, John.
oh yeah. Well, he also didn't really bring hazard removal, so yeah, there's literally nothing he could do. His hazard removal might have been Tapu Koko, but it's like that's touching the ground. So
yeah, Greg got rid of Mega Venusaur with his lead Slurpuff, and then he brought in Mamoswine, and then everything died. At no point in the game did Ace ever look like he was even gonna make a comeback.
Okay, so as you see, what we liked about the game is that he played his game before the deadline, and that he graciously took his L.
Good job, Ace, for taking his L graciously.
Yeah,
respect for that.
There wasn't much positive in that game besides those that we just named off. So yeah, that's about it for Ace.
Yeah, let's get on to the next one at number 15. We got Jack, coach of the Sootopolis Swamperts. Unfortunately, I kind of messed up the list and have it at number 10, but no, he's actually number 15.
I got it. I got you.
John W, gonna make a edit? Yeah. Jack is number 15. And what did you guys like about his game?
I really liked how Jack brought a pretty, I liked how Jack brought a solid team that can deal with Genius's team, but I feel like the matchup was really not that good for Jack. I was helping him prep, and he was struggling a bit, I could tell, because Genius's team is honestly a top 3 team, undisputed, I guess.
Definitely.
So it was a very uphill matchup, and I think he played it decent, but I feel like the way that he played it and the way that Genius played, I feel like Genius just outplayed him in the match.
Yeah, sacking Salazzle early really hurt him because if he had that late game, he would have had one more thing to outspeed things like Stormy and Zardats. But he didn't.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out is Jack did not play well at all against Genius's lead Landorus. Lead Landorus knocked off Gligar's Eviolite, which was huge, basically for free. And then he killed the Salazzle, and then he got even another hit off, I'm pretty sure, on a different Pokemon. Yeah, he got a hit off on Scizor. So Jack let one of his Pokemon get permanently weakened, sacked one of his win cons, and then let another Pokemon get weakened, basically for free. And in the end, he still ended up with rocks on the field, I'm pretty sure.
But Jack is our returning champion, so I am sure he will come back stronger than ever in the future.
Jack's one of the most solid coaches in the Hive, and definitely this won't keep him down. But I'm hoping to see a better performance in the future.
Yeah.
That's why we have him second to last.
I feel like the main thing with Jack is that he needs to get used to his team, because last season he had a very offensive team with Tapu Koko, Mega Gallade, and Shaman, Metagross, a really solid team. This season his team is completely different from what we've seen Jack do in the past. So I feel like the biggest thing is when Jack gets used to his team, he'll become a really scary opponent to play.
Yeah, definitely. So let's get on to the next one. At number 14, we have Alex, my opponent, coach of the Jacksonville Jellicents. And I'll just speak on this game a little bit since I played him. And what I really liked about what he did versus me is that he made very good predictions and kept up the momentum the entire game.
Yeah, I feel like when I was watching the game personally, I felt like Alex was like in control all of it. Like basically until the Sharpedo came out, I felt like Alex played that really nicely with the Infernape because you had no resist to his dual stabs if he clicked Flare Blitz. I don't think your only Flare Blitz switch in was Sharpedo because if Rockstrub Zapdos was like no longer switching. So I think Alex did a really solid job with that.
Yeah, and I think personally, like rewatching the game, I think Ellis, the way he could have played that better is instead of sacking Shaman to Hooba, he could literally sack anything else and just like go into Infernape and always be able to pick up a kill.
Definitely.
So that like he can't lose.
One thing I really dislike about him, just from playing him, one thing I really dislike is that he preserved the Cryogonal. I saw that there was a lot of opportunities he could have sacked the Cryogonal, and I don't think it would have done much the entire game, and it didn't do much in that game. And if he sacked the Cryogonal over Shaman or say Tornadus Therian, he still was in the game.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys mentioned this yet, but one of the turns he switched in Torrentee hard on Sharpedo's liquidation and actually lived like on 4%. So maybe if he like saved it for later and brought it in, maybe he wouldn't have gotten swept by Sharpedo.
Yeah, it probably would have been a closer score instead of a 3-0.
Yeah, I would have had to play the endgame differently if he didn't sack Torrentee there because liquidation was either a roll or didn't kill, depending on his investment.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely. I think Alex, he lost this game from team building, but overall he played it pretty well. But I think I had a pretty good team matchup versus him, and I used that to my advantage to beat him.
Yeah, so yeah, for the most part, I know Alex is like a really solid coach, making playoffs in both Hive Season 1 and Hive Season 2, and doing good in past Hive Season, like CBA or something. So I feel like Alex will bounce back too, because he's a very solid coach.
Yeah, if he keeps making good plays like all the doubles he made with Infernape, I'm sure he'll jump up easily.
And Regenerator's always scary to deal with.
Yeah, with Tornadus and Slowbro and Reuniclus, definitely a scary team. Let's go on to number 13. We got
a boy Turk. Oh, the neck is here.
Good old Turk, coach of the Toronto Luxrays. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about this game where he faced II?
I'll discuss Turk's game a bit. Turk, like, he was never really out of the game until the end. Like, he got up hazards and he just pretty much got his whole team whittled down by hazards though, which was a problem for him because he let toxic spikes and rocks get up, which means things like Ardino that are bulkier or Alolan Persian were just getting whittled because of being poisoned. And he had nothing to really deal with that, which was a big problem because he didn't bring a single bit of hazard removal, which you need to do.
Yeah, I'm going to elaborate off of Lejon a little. I really do feel like T-Spikes absolutely killed Turk in this matchup. Like when those T-Spikes got up, his chances like reduced like tremendously. So yeah, I feel like the biggest thing for Turk moving forward is that he needs to be better with his hazard removal and try to watch out for T-Spikes because those look really, really effective versus him this week.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is one of the games where Turk, during the game, I noticed he didn't really make outright any bad plays or even any blunders. The fact is that he lost in team building, and as soon as he got T-Spikes up, he was at a huge disadvantage, and he had no way to get rid of him, and his entire team was vulnerable.
Yeah, I think he could have easily won with, like, Kirim or something if he had just not had those spikes weakening everything.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, those T-Spikes, they were weakening Ardino the entire game. Even though it was supposed to be serving as a wall, it couldn't serve that job because of how much damage it was taking with poison.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, I feel like Turk played this game a bit too passive. I feel like he made good plays, but I don't feel like he went like out of his way to make aggressive game-changing plays.
I think the second T-Spikes got up, he should have started playing really aggressively because like everything's on timer at that point, so you need to get the kills.
Yeah, he as soon as T-Spike got up, he was playing at a major disadvantage, and his only way to get back in the game at that point was to play his ass off, and he didn't. He didn't make any misplays, but he didn't play to get rid of that disadvantage.
Yeah, but while Turk is an underdog, I still believe next week he has a chance to get back in this.
Turk knocked me out of
everyone does at this point.
March, I think, what was it? So like he knocked me out of a TTM tournament, so I know he's super good, and he got 3rd place. So Turk is very solid. Don't expect him to keep him down here.
He's got some potential going into the season.
Yeah, and next, are we going to Zappy?
Yeah, we're going to Zappy. Coach of
Zappy, yeah,
PEG.Buzzswole.
John, you want to take this one?
Oh yeah, I got this. Okay, so Zappy, I feel like Zappy played this game like really well. I feel like J-Slink just like out prepped him a bit, but I feel like this was one of the more closer like Hive games week
Yeah.
one with some really cool innovation with the defog Blaziken. When we all thought that Justin was gonna hazard stack Zappy, he whipped out the defog Blaziken and really changed the momentum of the game. He had momentum in some parts of the match, but overall, I feel like Justin just out prepped him a bit and really showing everyone that he is a solid B-Drill candidate.
Yeah, Justin showed that Palo Sam wasn't a meme, and Zappy, he played pretty well, and he brought a lot of cool sets. Things like Defog Blaziken. I thought he was just gonna get destroyed by Hazard Stack, but when he whipped out the Defog, I was like, oh, we got a real game here.
Yeah, his only real issue was the fact that his team got destroyed by Low Bunny, and his only real check was possibly Celebi.
Yeah, Celebi was his only check, and it was getting whittled down almost the entire game. J-Slink did a good job of setting up the Low Bunny, beating him in the end game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and every time Celebi came in, Alolan and Mutt could just come in and trap it, so,
Yeah, I also feel like he overlooked Palossand a bit. Like, he didn't have a move on Snorlax to hit it, which was really, really bad, because that was a free switch in every time.
Yeah.
And one thing I know is that his team, he got really bodied by Thundersturion, and you could tell by the way that Thundersturion just beat down Snorlax. It was a nuisance the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So Zappy definitely didn't play bad. I think he was one of those better losers, so to say, and that's why he's number 12. But if he keeps his play up and maybe improves his prep a little bit, I can see him winning a bunch of games.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely liked his Defog Blaziken, and if he can surprise us more, I'd be happy to see it. Let's get on to number 11. We got Eoin, and this game was something else. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, I was seeing it. So pretty much, Eoin brought a bulky-ass team, and Hiker, he had a few things, but, other than Lando, he didn't have a whole lot that could break through it. I mean, he had a few possible stall breakers, like Tapu Fini with Taunt, things like that. But he got flinched crucially early with his break Tango versus a Sneasel.
He was flinched a lot, and it was also I think the Tango was flinched again near the end game, and also
it was crit flinched later in the game, which lost him his Tangrowth and pretty much lost him the game. And Eoin, if he had gotten the kill on Sneasel, Hiker wouldn't have really been able to do anything versus his team, because Sneasel was pretty much keeping Hiker in it. And I think Eoin overall played pretty well and brought a pretty good team, but the only problem with it was the fact that it was too passive. And if you're constantly having to switch into things, then you're going to eventually get hacked, which is why you got to find a way to get rid of your opponent's team. That's just my opinion on the match.
Yeah, so the biggest thing about this match that I feel is that we don't know what would have happened without the hack, so this was probably really controversial to put Eoin. We didn't know. It was really hard to judge him in the power rankings because of the hacks that has such a big impact on the game. But overall, I feel like Hiker didn't expect the team that Eoin brought with the very bulky wall team sort of type team he brought. So yeah, I feel like Eoin can easily improvise and move on. Hopefully he doesn't get hacks in the future. But yeah, Eoin played very solid with what he didn't get hacks in.
Yeah, one thing to know is I was very impressed by the way Eoin played. He made a lot of good predictions, and I really liked how he played around Komo'o's Z move. I think he did that very well. And honestly, I believe Eoin should be higher, but the fact is that he lost, and really, he brought a stall team, and stall is vulnerable to hacks due to the fact that it's always on the defensive and passiveness. But Eoin, you probably should have won your game, but unfortunately you didn't, and that's why you're number 11. Let's get on to number 10.
All right, next up we got Lejon, coach of the Carolina Talonflames at number 10.
Don't say my name that boring. Lejon Flames!
Honestly,
no,
I don't know why we put him this high. He's kind of a scrub.
He is horrible.
He's dry. He should have been 16.
No, but his game was very interesting. Why don't you offer some insight as the player, Lejon?
Okay. My game, I think it was a close game. It was sort of a hack fest because I got some early game para hats on Heatran. He Bloom doomed a Garchomp that was setting up on it, so that made him have to lose his Sash on Zam because of that. Because I would have just got a kill on Heatran and Rotom instead of getting damage off on Zam too. So that was big. And he missed 2 high jump kicks, which actually sort of helped him late game because I had Whirlwind Skarmory, and I was just going to Whirlwind him around until I could kill Mienshao or something else, and Zygarde couldn't set up for free. But it was still a very close game. I think both sides played pretty well and, just happened to decide it. I sacked Crest way earlier than I needed to because I wouldn't have even been in a position to lose to Zard or Mienshao if I just kept Crest around because it had Ice Beam and Psychic, and while it was poison, it still was a nice check, and just letting it die was not a very good play. And Skarmory, some weak little bitch that gets destroyed by Zygarde. That's just how it is. Bringing Skarmory sets there to setup fodder, not the greatest set. Any thoughts?
All right, the biggest thing I would say about this match is that it was probably the most entertaining match of week 1, as it was all over the place. I know Techno said that he thought he lost after a couple turns going in, as it was like really looking bad for him after like the first 20 turns or 15 turns when you had all the momentum, and then he brings it back with the Zygarde, which was pretty cool to see. Obviously some hacks involved, but it's Mons, so just got to move on.
Yeah, even though it was still a very great game on both parts, so yeah, that's why we put me at number 10.
Yeah,
and
there was a lot of there's some back and forth hacks, but we put Lejon as one of the higher losers because the game was so close. I believe it was like a 1-0 because it was only Zygarde and he wanted to do the high jump kick misses. But yeah, it was a very close, entertaining game, and I think Lejon brought good prep and played well. But some hacks on both sides kind of poisoned what could have been one of the best games.
Yeah, unfortunate. Next is John W.
Next, we got the other person in the call, John W.
John, you can go over your match.
Is John dead?
John.
Oof.
Okay, well, while John is on intermission, I'll start it off. John played against Rob, and he brought a very solid team. He had lead Seismitoad, which was good versus Rob's team, because Rob led with something that couldn't really Oko it, because he led Hydreigon. I mean, not Hydreigon, Aerodactyl, and then switched to Hydreigon. And pretty much, he got up rocks for free, and he would have got a poison off on Hydreigon, but it got flinched, which is very unfortunate, because Hydreigon proceeded to dick on his team after Seismitoad went down, and there's nothing John could really do about it.
Yeah,
because,
one thing I really liked about John is he brought a lot of creative sets, and one set in particular I really liked and put in a lot of work was his Seismitoad set. Like you said, it was a lead set, but it was Rindoberry Endeavor, which was very interesting because both worked out. The Rindoberry was able to tank an energy ball from Jirachi, and then he used Endeavor, which allowed it to pretty much kill Jirachi then and there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm back, by the way. I just went to get a glass of water, but yeah, so basically my biggest takeaway from this match is I should probably calc something if I'm not sure about the damage input, because I actually had Steelium Z, which killed Chestnut. It was a pretty good roll in my favor after I calc Rob showed me. So yeah, that was really unfortunate. If I calc that, I potentially could have gotten a 4-0 or 5-0 win.
John, we all know real men don't calc, so you did good, kid.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that was a choke on your end then if Steelium Zeke killed.
Yeah.
So just to go over what we didn't like,
thing...
what I didn't like about your team is that you brought Mega Sceptile. That mon's bad. It'll always be bad, and I hate it.
I think Mega Sceptile was decent. I ran like a shit ton of bulk on it, so I could live. Like,
yeah.
I think it was weird. I don't know. I brought a bunch of weird sets, and I didn't really expect Z Hydreigon, which fucked my AVM bore up.
Yeah, letting Suicune get tricked by the most obvious trick scar.
Oh yeah, that was bad too.
Class of life
yeah,
was
I think
never
that was very unfortunate, and it really turned the momentum in Rob's favor. I think as soon as the Suicune got tricked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
another thing I didn't like was your Mew set that much because it didn't actually deal with Hydreigon that well, even though it was Culper Berry. But I can understand why you brought it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it would have been completely different if I hit Toxic, because I do feel like Mew could have potentially weakened Hydreigon, or it would have been dead by that point.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing to note is that your M-board got sacked for nothing, but it was hard to predict whether he was something like Scarf or Z-move.
Yeah, I thought it was Scarf because I didn't expect Z Draco because I feel like Scarf was good versus me. That's why I saw it on my mocks. So yeah.
Yeah, but it was a very close game, and like you said, you could have won were it not for a choke, and you brought some creative set, and that's why we put you at the top of the loser list. From the next we get into are we're gonna start from the winners, the people who won their game, and at number 8
Yeah.
we have Hiker. So Hiker, he beat Eoin, and we put him at the lowest among the winners because he had probably the shakiest win out of any of the winners. And honestly, he could be lower, but he did win, so we put him at number 8. But what I really liked about Hiker is throughout the game he kept up a lot of momentum. U-turning with Landorus kept up momentum a lot. He also made good prediction or some decent prediction with things like Arcanine as well, and did a decent job of wearing down Owen's team overall. What do you guys think?
I agree.
I feel like Hiker's a hacking scum who deserves to get relegated, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what we
it's
didn't like.
fine.
Haxing Scum Hiker.
I do feel like Hiker brought an interesting team that really couldn't deal with Stall, which in all fairness, I wouldn't expect Owen to bring Stall versus his type of team. And he was surprised too, I could tell, because I feel like Owen's best shot to win was to bring like more of an offensive team, but he brought some weird ass Blissey shit team. I don't know what the fuck that game was.
Yeah, one thing
I
I noticed
mean,
about Hiker's team is he was very weak to Quagsire, shockingly.
Oh yeah, he didn't prep for that thing.
his Quagsire counter was flinching it with Sneasel.
And
Oh,
it
wait,
worked.
he
It
did.
worked, but it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of hacks in Hiker's favor. He definitely had the weakest win. What else did you not like about his play and team, Lejon?
I didn't really like how his way of beating some of Owen's like bulkier mons was literally flinching it with down with Sneasel. As I do feel like if he didn't get the like turn somewhere between turn 10 and turn 20 that flinch on Tangrowth, he would have lost his Sneasel really early on.
And I think he tried to set up with Como and do all that a bit too early. I mean, he got set up again later, but I think he tried setting up with Como a bit prematurely.
Yeah, and he got baited with the Z move. Owen baited the Z move on the Sylveon and got rid of it pretty well, which was nice.
Yeah. Want to move on to Techno?
Yeah. So Hiker, we hope to see better performance next week. It was a very grudging number 8 we gave you, and hopefully you do better in future games. Next we got Techno.
Yeah, Techno.
You could talk a little about him, Lejon, since you played him.
Okay. Techno brought a really good team, and he played very solid. And he a lot of people get tilted early game when hacks doesn't go their way and a few plays don't go their way. But Techno, stayed in it, kept it going, and didn't tilt or let me just start destroying his team. And even though he got a bit of hacks in his favor, he definitely deserved to win the game just by staying in it. And Mons is the game we play, and he got a bit lucky, but I think Techno played very well as anyone in week 1, and it was a really good game. And his Zygote set, it was just perfect versus my team because all my flying types were it was just Skarmory, which was partially steel, so that was week 2 ground, and everything else I didn't really have a grass type, so.
Yeah,
I
was definitely impressed by his perseverance. Even through getting hacks, he recognized his win condition as Zygarde. And he literally brought the perfect Zygarde set to win in the end game, which I gotta put my hat off to him. He hacks to Lejon a little bit, but he was also hacks in turn, his heat ran. So it's kind of justice, but not really. But still, I think a solid win. One thing.
Yeah. So what I would say about this game is that I really do like how he kept going after he felt like he wasn't in the match halfway through with all that mini hacks, paras and stuff, and he brought it back by putting himself in a weird position where he got the I don't know, he got the correct the situation. He got literally the best case scenario, which ended up winning him the game at the end.
Yep, persevere. Yeah. One thing I didn't like, or two things really that I didn't like about Techno's team is he really was vulnerable to hazard stack, and he had a really tough time breaking through your bulk.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did he have any hazard removal? I can't quite remember, but I just remember that hazard stack really messed with him, and you would have won had he not missed high jump kick in the end
He's
game.
claiming to have Rotom. Oh yeah, he had Rotom, but the Rotom
Yeah,
washed.
he had Rotom, but Rotom got sacked to Garchomp early, which is why Hazard stayed up.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, definitely a solid win. Unfortunately, like we said with Lejon, unfortunately, the game was kind of poisoned by hacks on both sides, but it was still a good game, and Techno played very well, which is why we put him at number 7. Let's get on to the next one.
Next is Rob at number 6.
Yeah, so Rob, I played him, of course. He brought a really good chestnut set with a Copa Berry, a really, really good Hydreigon set that he executed very well in the match, and the Mega Arrow, which literally cleaned up my team at the end. So yeah, he had some really good shenanigans going on, which really put him in a really good position to win the game. As tricking Suicune early on also helped Mega Arrow in the late game. So yeah, I really do feel like Rob did a really nice job scouting, making good plays when he needed to, and overall just giving me my week 1 L.
Yeah, definitely. He had some solid prep to counter your solid prep. Copa Berry Chestnut came in clutch, even though he should have Steelium Z'd that. I liked how he neutralized Suicune early, like you said, and Suicune was your only Mega Aerodactyl check, and as we saw in the game, with Suicune being neutralized, Mega Aerodactyl just won in the end game. And one thing I noticed he did really well was I think he scouted around the Mew very well and recognized that it couldn't beat Mega Arrow. And overall, he just scouted well for the entire match, and that helped him win.
One critique I do have on the on one of his is the Mega Arrow. I don't know why taunt Mega Arrow. I feel like taunt, roost, wing attack, and like another move would have been really effective versus me.
Definitely, but it was definitely a solid win. There was only one bout of hacks where he flinched side jump through that could have, but it was too early to judge whether it would have changed the game too much.
Yeah, he would have played differently too.
Yeah, and one thing is, this is just a minor complaint is he could have never predicted this in my eyes. Is he let Jirachi go down very early because of your creative Seismitoad set? But in his defense, it's hard to predict Rindoberry Endeavor Seismitoad.
Yeah.
But overall, he played well, and we put him at number 1 in the draft power rankings, and he's definitely matching his power in his draft with his play, and I think he's gonna keep on getting wins. What do you guys think?
Also, by the way, these power rankings don't correlate with the draft power rankings. Just in case.
We've organized it from the strongest winners, and then we've organized it into losers, and that's how we've ranked things. Yeah, let's get into number 5. Oof.
Yeah. Number 5, we have Elysian, coach of the Las Vegas Venusaurs.
Why is he here? I thought he was at 16.
A very handsome and skilled at talking coach.
Yeah, so Elysian, do you want to talk since you're here?
Yeah, I'll talk a little about my game. So I'll just talk about the things that I didn't like about how I played first, is that throughout the entire game, I almost never had momentum, and I was kind of out-predicted. I felt like I was playing on the back foot for a lot of the game because of Infernape really destroying my team. And he's made some very solid doubles throughout the game. But what I did like is I used Hoopa U effectively to break down his Sharpedo checks. Then I got up rocks, and then the rest is history. Sharpedo would just win. But I don't think I played that game perfectly at all. And if Alex made some certain plays, the game would have either been a lot closer or an L for me.
Yeah, the main critique I have on this is Infernape did a really nice job on you getting momentum and ultimately weakening things down. And the main thing I also liked about the team was that the Hoopa U broke down his Shaman, and I think it was just a Shaman did like 99, which in turn led to Sharpedo cleaning up late game.
Yeah, I think Illusion played that really well.
We killed Shaman.
Yeah, by weakening everything for Sharpedo to sweep, like that's pretty much like the bread and butter of what you do when you have a Mega Sharpedo in the back. Because a lot of people sweep. Wait, what?
It was only regular Sharpedo.
Oh, regular Sharpedo, my bad. But yeah, a lot of people sleep on Sharpedo, but like late game, when the whole team's weakened, all you have to do is just get one speed boost and it can be a GG, which is what Illusion made sure to do, which is very good.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I didn't like is that Scarf the Trio did a number on his team, but I didn't bring it because Scarf the Trio got whacked in 2 of the mocks I did. But I wish I brought it in hindsight.
Yeah, it would have been able to do it better.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get on to the next one. Number 4, we have Justin, aka J-Slink, coach of the Tustin Tyrannotars, and he had a very impressive Week 1 game. One thing I really liked about it, well, I think what we all like about it is he brought Sandy Gast.
You mean okay?
No, it's actually Palossand, I think.
Palossand, yeah, not Sandy Gast. What the fuck is a Sandy Gast?
Dude, I have no idea.
It
was like a non-mon. It's hard to even. We don't even know the name. That's how like of a nothing mon he brought, and he brought it to good success.
Okay, so so overall, J-Slink, he played that really nice, like really well. Like both of them had him and Zappy had momentum throughout the match. It was back and forth. He did a good job trying to hazard stack him, which Zappy brought innovated Blaziken set with Defog, and he did a really good job keeping up the pressure, realizing the what the hazards can do late game, and overall he played that really well with the Palossand, walling Snorlax. So yeah.
Yeah, I think he knew that Mega Lopunny was just gonna destroy his team right from team preview, because Buzzwole's not Buzzwole, Zappy's like only thing to really handle the Lopunny was Shaman, and he had Alolan Muck, so he just preserved Alolan Muck and Lopunny and made sure late game Lopunny could just sweep, which it did, which is very good on Justin's part.
Yeah, I was very impressed by his maneuvering with Mega Lopunny. I think he had Rocky Helmet Celebi, which is actually a decent Mega Lopunny answer, but he kept hazards up and the pressure up until eventually Mega Lopunny just swept through his team in the end game. It was like I think it was very methodical and solid, and the fact that he brought Palossand is that's an instant W in my eyes.
Yeah, that's a very solid one.
This is the only thing I didn't like, and this is like the most minor of complaints, and I don't think it would have changed anything other than differential, is the fact that he lucked out in regards to Snorlax sleep talking and getting a rest instead of something like Return versus Thunder Styrian. And that I think that would have let it die to Garchomp later on, but that's such like a minor complaint. I think Justin played this almost perfectly and brought a very good team. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think he just played it really well and brought a solid team.
Yeah, this one was in my opinion, one of the hardest matches to predict in the pick'ems, and Justin really did a good job playing this match out, prepping really well. I feel like he did a good job getting mocks from different people, and overall spending a fair amount of time.
Yeah, I'm scared. I play him for week 2, and it's gonna be a scary matchup. Very scary.
Yeah, and I play him right after you, so yeah.
I play with John week 8, so I got a free win week 8.
John, nobody cares. Okay, next is Captain. It's our boy I.
The guy who ditched me and didn't want to do power ranks with me, SMH.
Yeah, well, we're better anyway.
True.
So I watched a lot of his match versus Turk, and pretty much like, even though both people brought like pretty solid teams, I realized that Turk didn't have any hazard removal, and he made sure to prioritize T-Spikes, and he even led with a Stash Spike Sleep Greninja, which was very useful versus Turk's team. And that Greninja was able to not only get up T-Spikes, but do a lot of damage to Kyurem and Aggron, which is very nice. And he pretty much kept up the momentum all game, and Turk couldn't really get anything going, and Turk didn't really make any plays to help his case. So it was pretty much destruction on I's part. He had control the whole time.
I don't know. Like, this game was interesting. Like, I didn't really need to play aggressive. He played a bit timid, but he was still like in the lead the entire game without making any real plays, which really goes to show. I think he only
made like a play in the end game, making a double and a cross.
Yeah, one player too. But that really shows. Like, if you don't have to make plays and you can win like really comfortably, it really goes to show like how he prepped like this game. Like his
prep was amazing.
Yeah, one thing I want to know is his call with a Focus Sash lead Toxic Spikes Greninja is the fact that offensive like Life Orb respects Greninja had like such a solid matchup against Turk's team, but he recognized the power of just bringing T-Spikes. And T-Spikes throughout the entire game really messed with Turk.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Turk had hazard removal on the rest of his team, or if his hazard removal just didn't have a good matchup, but apparently I knew and made sure to get that done.
Yeah, neutralized his walls and offense perfectly, and I don't think Turk was ever really in the game. It was just
Turk was just fighting for his differential at that point.
One thing I didn't like is he got Mega Aggron very weak with Greninja, but then he let it get wished back up. But the fact that it didn't really matter just goes to show how well he prepped.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very, very solid. Respect to that recognizing that Greninja set and bringing T-Spikes, which Turk could never remove, and he felt its presence throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
So let's get on to number 2. We have Genius, one of the most threatening teams in the entire Hive draft. Let's talk. Why don't you guys talk about him a little bit?
I think Genius played this pretty much flawlessly. Like, Genius, he pretty much made all the right plays. His Landorus got a lot more done than it should have because of some of Jack's misplays, but it got a knockoff on Gligar and killed Salazzle, which sort of bodied his team, and he played perfectly to where Stormy and Terrakion could just clean up Jack's team, and there's nothing Jack could really do about it.
Definitely. The amount of mileage he got out of lead Landorus I was just insane. He knocked out the Gligar for literally free, and then killed the Salazzle, and then he got damage off on the Scizor, and he got rocks up, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, that was
definitely. Genius he has one of the top 3 undisputed GOAT drafts this season. He reminds me of K-Crick's draft from last season. So I was really impressed with how he performed with the draft because he had a really good matchup versus Jack, and he really did a good job capitalizing on Jack's mons by knocking off Gligar's Violet turn 2, making the Landawai make that set really solid with the defog knockoff. It did a lot, and got rid of Salazzle. So overall, very solid. But I didn't really like how we crit the Latios with the pursuit, which is unfortunate, but it's honestly you just got to keep going with it.
Yeah, the fact that he neutralized Latios and Salazzle, Jack's 2 biggest offensive threats, immediately, like in the first 10 turns, from that point on, Jack was playing from a major disadvantage, and Jack even recognized it that he was pretty much losing as soon as Lati and Salazzle went down. And Genius capitalized on that perfectly and won a very clean game. You guys have anything else to say?
And this is like one of the best players in Visual. Like, he's a reigning champion, so Genius, showed up week 1 and showed that he's a force to be reckoned with.
Genius didn't play me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, one thing to note is, like Turk, he also beat me in TTM, but he beat me in pool. So we already know Genius. If you beat me, you're top 10 easily.
Illusion,
I beat you. I'm top 10.
Except if you're John W. John W hacks me, so that doesn't count.
What?
Illusion, who hasn't beat you in TTM?
John W didn't beat me in TTM.
Dude, I'm the undisputed TTM speed tour GOAT. Don't at me. 2-time
yes, but let's talk about the Hive GOAT for week 1. Regulator.
Greg. So Greg plays Yu-Gi-Oh, so he automatically gets penalized.
Also, he plays Duel Links other than Yu-Gi-Oh Pro, so that's another L. And those are the only L's he took this week because his Pokemon game was absolute destruction.
Actually, he also took the L of having to schedule with Ace, so that's 3 L's he took.
Yeah, 3 L's outside of the game. But in the game, it was complete destruction. I mean,
so Greg,
the first 2 turns set the tone of the game.
Led Slurpuff turn 1, got rid of Mega Venusaur, and got webs up with Ace having no hazard removal. So that after turn 2, that sealed the game up, in my opinion. Because Ace had no hazard
literally
removal.
The first 2 turns, Ace had already lost.
Yeah, because Mega Venusaur was dead, and that was his main mon in his wall court. And when one of your mons gets chipped down in your wall court, things start to unravel, and the game becomes ugly real quick.
I think if he was like if Ace was like rapid spin Hitmonlee with the
Or
terrain,
default Volcanion.
or yeah, default Volcanion, he may have been able to make a comeback, but this was just a savage beatdown from Greg the Ace. There's literally no chance for
Yeah.
Ace to win at all. It was just like watching a wolf devour a bunch of sheep. There was no chance.
Yeah.
One thing I really liked about Greg is he used Mamoswine very well. Mamoswine got like 3 kills.
Yeah. Something like that.
It got a savage amount of kills, and then he cleaned up with Mega Gallade. And
Yeah.
Greg by far had the strongest performance out of any player in Hive Week 1, and most deservedly deserves number 1 in the power rankings. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Greg is well deserving of the number 1 spot.
Yeah, and we hope to see him continue this stretch of dominance.
Yeah, he might go undefeated until he has to face me.
And me.
Okay, he's gonna go like 7-3 because he has to face all 3 of us.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
All right, and before we close out this video, I have one thing to say.
Yeah, Lejon's black.
That these power rankings are completely official. They're not opinion based. They're actually fact, handed down by Game Freak. And if you have a problem with it, you should have played better Week 1.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have any closing thoughts?
Objective power rankings.
If you have any questions, make sure to spam Chili's DMs, Chili102 on Battle Area, or Chili on Discord.
All right.
Close out.
See you guys later.